Hekmatullah Azamy joins me now from Kabul. He's an analyst with the Center for Conflict and Peace Studies. So good to speak to you. I mean, Afghanistan has been struck by deadly attacks, killing hundreds, especially in Kabul, the capital. Why is there an increase in attacks now?
Thank you. This attack is not yet confirmed who carried out, who was behind this attack. There is a greater possibility that it might be Islamic State or Daesh, who are now competing with the Taliban carrying out attacks. If Taliban announces their spring offensive earlier, so Daesh has not formally announced their spring offensive, but whenever there's an attack from the Taliban, it's probably followed by an attack from Islamic State or Daesh in Afghanistan as well. So far, like I said, there's no claim of responsibility either from Taliban or Islamic State. Taliban neither confirmed nor rejected, although they have very strong and heavy active presence in the social media, particularly their spokesperson is very active in Twitter. So it's yet to be seen, but there's a greater possibility and high likelihood that it might be Islamic State or Daesh behind this attack.
Yes, and we can see that the target of the attacks is foreign forces, military compounds. I mean, what does that really suggest? Especially in this case, it's a very fortified area. The zone is considered the safest in Kabul, isn't it?
Well, this attack, the target is absolutely confused. Nobody knows what was the real target. It's a very heavily secured and guarded area. It's almost at the entrance of the way to the palace, and there's a lot of embassies. The greater question is how this suicide bomber was able to enter with a truck bomb. If it's Islamic State, in the previous attacks, we have seen that Islamic State was not able or did not have the capacity to come with such attacks. So it tells one thing, and that is that Islamic State Daesh is improving its network and cells inside the Kabul city, which allows the group to have suicide bombers and carry set attacks inside the city.
Yes, that's especially going to be a question, surely, how an attack could target such a safe zone there in Kabul. But the Taliban announced a spring offensive, but Daesh is also showing more presence in Afghanistan. So you said it points to Daesh, but why?
You see, Daesh, there are speculations that Daesh is actually losing ground, not only in Iraq and Syria, but also in the eastern province of Nangarhar, which serves as the key bastion, the key province for Daesh presence. So they want to, with such attacks, my understanding is that they want to prove those speculations or such reports false, and also prove Daesh as a real threat, which can bring hundreds of more fighters to the rank and file of the Daesh. So each attack in Kabul, and each attack in particularly in heavily guarded areas, increases the image of Daesh or any other group and brings more fighters. And like I said, Daesh is competing with the Taliban in carrying attacks inside Kabul particularly. So these are all the points that make us to believe that it was Daesh, not the Taliban.
And what about Daesh and Taliban? Is there a battle for control of territory in Afghanistan between the two terror groups?
They used to have greater animosities between each other, but which is, Taliban have recently toned down their aggressive approach towards Daesh, because the Taliban believe that IS presence in operations is indirectly supporting Taliban as well, because they are fighting a common enemy, which is the Afghan government and the international security forces. Particularly the Daesh and Taliban rivalry were at a high point when the former Taliban leader Akhtar Mansour was in power, in charge. But after his death, the new Taliban leader is not as aggressive against the Taliban. They are still fighting in some areas, but we have even seen cases that the Taliban and Daesh have a cooperation, particularly Daesh in and Haqqani. You know, when Daesh initially emerged, it was a dividing force that divided all the militant groups. And there was a competition, a greater competition. But now it has become to a unifying force. They work with different groups, but not necessarily they're friends. They only cooperate for a different, for a specific target. And that is, I think, this could be the case in today's Kabul attack as well. Daesh might have cooperated with groups that are
Yes, some audio problem there we had. That was Hekmatullah Azamy, who joined me from Kabul there on the latest on the explosion in the diplomatic quarter in Kabul, and we'll have the latest from Kabul in the coming hours as well.